All right, here we go. A little different setup this week. We're gonna I just wanted to give you guys a recap of the CrossFit Games. Just got back from 2 days ago. And yeah, I want to give you guys my take on it, what I thought, what I saw. It's just my opinion, that's all it is. Let's do this. So games recap, right? What did we see? We saw a crazy change in the games format this year, going from normally 40 athletes to about 150 on each side, male and female. And then it went down from normally 40 teams to 14 teams. So pretty drastic changes. The format changed. The open was the same, but then how to qualify, you qualified through sanctionals and not through a regional, and you had to win your sanctional or lose to somebody who was already qualified. So pretty drastic changes. At first glance, obviously, like a lot of people change, you know, there's always a little pullback. You're not really sure exactly how it's gonna play out. And you're like, why'd they have to change it up? There are a lot of positives to the season. I think that in favor for the athlete with the sanctional qualifiers, where you don't have to rely completely on one weekend. So if you happen to get sick, injured, just have an off weekend, and it was your regional weekend, it is what it is. Your season was over, most likely, and you had to basically start training for the next year. With the sanctional, things changed to where if you have a bad weekend at a sanctional, there's still, unless it's right towards the end and the games are coming up, right, you have some more time and you can regroup, recalibrate, and go back and hit a different sanctional. So in that aspect of it, I really thought it's really great for the athlete, and it played out that way too. So you saw some teams and athletes have to do multiple sanctionals to qualify for the games. So that was actually really cool. All right, fast forward, now we're at the games. We got 150 athletes, male and female, and the first workout, we're cutting to 75 athletes right off the get-go. So a lot of people came out there to get one workout in. You know, good for them. There's a lot of people who, you know, probably at most time would not be able to go to the games in the old format, and they got a chance to, you know, taste what it's like to be out there in the games, and hopefully it motivates them and gets them to work harder, and hopefully, you know, maybe they can come back and get more workouts in than just that one. But it was a crazy first workout. It was actually one of my favorite workouts to watch, was the very first workout. I thought it was one of the most beautifully programmed workouts I've ever seen at the games. When it came out, I was like, wow, to knock the field in half and keep the people there that needed to be there and knock the people that didn't deserve to be there out. I thought it was a perfect workout. It was the perfect length, the perfect reps, the perfect movements, and the perfect weight. And it really did the job of keeping the 75 people that deserved to be there off the bat. It was 4 rounds, 400-meter run, 3 legless rope climbs, and then 7 squat snatches at 185, 130 for the women. So yeah, it was great. It was, and it actually, I was really interested to see how it would look. And I got to watch it on the Rogue Iron Game feed, which was, needless to say, the best feed out there. Who would have thought, right? Rogue did it right. So it was great. It was fun to watch the Iron Game. They knocked it out of the park with all of their commentating. They had, you know, Sean Woodland, Chase Ingram, Andy Sakamoto, and Dan Bailey just crushing it on the commentating. So that was really fun to watch. Back to the workout. The first heat, you had a lot of people from a lot of different countries, and then Ben Smith, and it was crazy. Ben came out and just absolutely dominated, and being in the first heat of 3 of 50, you're really, and you know that the next 2 heats ahead of you, you're gonna have some great times, and so you have to really go out and not just compete against the people that are in your heat. You have to go out and compete against yourself and the time, and that's exactly what Ben did. And it was awesome to watch Ben crush that workout. I want to say he took 5th in the workout overall, with being basically the only guy out there in his heat. And he, you know, ran it at his pace, and it was a fast pace, and it was a great time he posted. So it was really great to see Ben. Ben got that wild card at the beginning, or just with basically a week prior to the games, he got his wild card invite, which was awesome for him. It was great to see, well deserved. If you don't know who Ben Smith is, I don't know, you probably have never heard of CrossFit. So really great that CrossFit came out and gave him that wild card spot at the very end. Got him his 11th straight season at the CrossFit Games, and it was well deserved for Ben. Ben, he was coming off a knee injury, knee surgery at the beginning of the season, around January, I think. And so with short time of coming off that knee surgery and getting to come back and not really getting a full year of training in, you know, he did a phenomenal job. And so it was really great to see Ben out there. But yeah, the programming was great. I really enjoyed watching the programming. The programming was more traditional style CrossFit, a lot of .com stuff, which is what they did with that first event. They actually posted the workout the day before, didn't say that it was the CrossFit Games event first one, and then showed the athletes on the, you know, pulled up CrossFit.com on the big screen, and that's how they announced the workout. It was actually kind of cool to see. So hats off to Dave and CrossFit for the programming. They did a phenomenal job. It was a great year all around, I thought, with the programming. So now onto the cuts, right? We have probably a lot of people who maybe were upset. I don't know exactly how I felt. I think the cuts were cool because it made the events really intense. It made each one very important. It wasn't like the same as years past where, oh yeah, you're just, you know, you're trying to do damage control in each workout if it wasn't your workout. Now this was, every workout mattered, every workout counted. You had to go out there and perform no matter if it was your workout or not. And it was really fun to watch. You could see it on the athletes' faces that this wasn't like years past where everyone's joking around, having a good time. A lot more intense, a lot more on the line every single workout. And it did make it fun. You know, I don't know if I like them going to 10 so fast, cutting all the way down to 10 really quick. You saw some athletes in there that got cut pretty early that maybe the first few workouts just didn't suit them. And you know that they're obviously really fit. You know, you had guys like Vellner, Fikowski, Sager that didn't make it to that final cut, and so their weekend got cut short. Also on the girls' side, the women's side, you had, you know, Annie Thor's daughter, Sarah Sigmund's daughter, some Sam Briggs, also some big names, not Brooke Wells, not making it to that final 10 people. So their weekends were cut short, and it's hard to explain. It's hard to know like if it was the right thing to do, if it wasn't. You know, it still turned out and it looked good. Did those people probably deserve to be on the floor? I would say yes. They're all pretty phenomenal athletes, and they've showed in years past how fit they are. But yeah, it was fun to watch, and it definitely made it more intense, and it made it interesting, and it kept the races pretty tight. Obviously, except for Tia. Tia was pretty dominant this weekend. I don't know who's going to beat Tia, or if anyone ever will beat Tia. But if they do, they are going to have to work extremely, extremely hard. Tia's performance this weekend was pretty dominant, and you know, being the first 3-time women's champ, it's incredible, and it's hats off to her because it's well deserved. I've gotten to train with Tia, and she likes to push, right? She comes in, she's always, you know, she's a mouth shut, ears open, head down grinder, and I love it. I love, you know, everything that she's gotten, she's deserved, and so it's so incredible to see. You know, she's not only a 3-time CrossFit Games champion, she's gone to the Olympics, she's gone to the Commonwealth Games and won. So hats off to Tia, Claire Toomey, her and Shane, both amazing people, and it was, you know, great to see her go out there and perform the way she did. Back to the cuts though, yeah. You know, I would have liked to maybe seen 20 athletes move on to the final day, and then if you wanted to cut to 10, it could have been like maybe after the first event on Sunday. My opinion, but either way, it looked great. They still did a great job with it. It was fun to watch all the workouts, and it made it intense. So I like the cuts. I think it's cool. I think it has a purpose, and it did its job. Back to some of the events that I really enjoyed watching. Mary was definitely one of them. A very old school, you know, very grassroots CrossFit workout. It's a 20-minute AMRAP of 5 handstand push-ups, 10 pistols, and then 15 pull-ups. It was, you know, when you think about it, when they announced it, I didn't know exactly how they would do it, if they would do an actual 20-minute AMRAP, but they did. So, which I was like, wow, that was actually the first time they've ever done an AMRAP, I believe, at the CrossFit Games. So to do it with Mary, very, very classic workout. I was kind of shocked, first off, that it was an AMRAP, and then secondly, that they, you know, just that they actually did that workout. It's a devastating workout to do in the middle of the CrossFit Games, right? You're talking, I knew that in 2006, I'd done 20 rounds. And it might have been one of the last times I ever did a workout because of how messed up I was afterwards. So the fact that they put this workout in the middle of the games, it was incredible. I was like, it was a true testament to these athletes and how fast that they can recover from brutal workouts in the middle of the week. So it was crazy. And the fact that Carrie Pierce beat everyone, all men and women, and there was no difference in the workouts. It was the same work for everyone. Carrie Pierce just absolutely dominated that workout. It was phenomenal to watch. And that workout was, it's not the most fun workout to watch for the first 10 to 15 minutes, but then it actually became a race at the end on the male side with Noah and Matt, going back and not really going back and forth, but Matt kind of gaining a little bit of ground each round on him towards that back end. So it's not the most exciting thing, but it actually became one of the most exciting workouts in the weekend, the last 5 minutes, which is always what you like to see. You never like to see, it's fun to watch dominant performances, but when there's a race, it obviously makes it interesting. And so that was actually cool to see that workout did come down to like 1 or 2 reps on the male side. So that was really cool. The old rucksack comes in. I've been calling a rucksack workout since 2013. Dave Castro was an instructor of mine when I was going through my military training to become a SEAL, and he was the guy who led the rucksack runs. So I knew that they were going to come. I knew that they were going to be there. At some point it was going to come into play, and of course, Dave, thanks a lot, pal. I wasn't there this year to do it, but but I've been calling that workout for a long time, and I love the adding weight of each round. Saw a little bit of controversy there with old Fraser's rucksack falling out, but other than that, yeah, that was a great workout. I love that workout, the old rucksack, and I bummed I couldn't be out there, but that was a blast to watch. It was, for a run, runs can be not that most interesting things to watch as well, and with adding the weight and things like that, it became a cool event to watch. Some other things about the weekend that I loved watching a couple of athletes who have kind of had great careers. Kind of thought you were almost seeing the back end of their career, and then a guy like Scott Panchik comes in and has one of his best performances to date. It was actually really cool to watch. Him and his brother Saxton were out there battling to the very end with being in the top 10. So I was happy for Scott. Scott's been around since 2012, always being pretty consistent with his performances, so great. Hats off to Scott. That was awesome to watch. Then going over to the team event, and there's only one word to say, mayhem. Those dudes, obviously Rich being one of my best friends, awesome to see that those guys come out there and just, dominated the floor from start to finish, racking up almost too many wins to count. It was really cool to see, especially with this year being the first year where they allowed super teams. Right, so you don't know how it's going to play out. You had a lot of teams like CrossFit Krypton with every athlete on the team being a games athlete. You had, Invictus having 3 teams out there plugging in, and on Invictus X you had their old male athletes, both games athletes, Sam Dancer and Holden. There it is. And it was an H. Holden, sorry, and then plugging in, 2 phenomenal females with Margot Alvarez and Christy Aramo. So, you had some really great athletes out there on the team side, making it really fun to watch. Not that it wasn't fun to watch before, but it was, you just had a lot of big names out there not this year, and Mayhem being who they are and showing the work that they put in and the teamwork, how they work together as a team, adding in China Cho in there towards the beginning of the year, but not getting a full season with China on the team, just absolutely dominant. And Rich getting his 10th medal, I believe. Yeah, 10th medal at the CrossFit Games, none of which have been less than silver, and only 2 of the 10 are silver, the rest are gold. Showing just he is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, CrossFitter of all time. Really awesome to watch that. That was a blast to watch and see them get those guys. And the workouts for the teams this year were phenomenal tests. Those guys put in so much work halfway. I actually thought throughout the weekend that they were putting in more work than the individuals for a lot of the time. I think it did end up balancing out where the individuals started to put the volume in as well. But man, the teams this year, I loved how they did the workouts where it wasn't a ton of rest for it. It wasn't this like go really hard and then your teammate comes in and relieves you. Actually, most of the teammates were doing all of the work, and it was just showing how well they worked together. So it was a phenomenal all-around event for the teams, and Mayhem just absolutely dominated it. And so it was really cool to watch and see. Yeah, a great year all around. Fraser getting his 4th consecutive CrossFit Games victory. That guy is a freak. It was actually fun to see him have a race this year though, and actually see Noah push him and see how he fared. Because the first 2 times that he actually did have competition in his career, in 14, which was his rookie season, and then 15, where he ended up losing the CrossFit Games, right? When he had that pressure, when he had an actual race. After that, in 16, 17, and 18, his margins of victory were pretty great. He really didn't have a ton of pressure on him towards the end of the weekend, where he was already leading, and a lot of times the last workout was just a formality for him. He didn't have to go out there and really even do the event, but had to just obviously to get his gold medal. So it was cool to see Matt actually have a race and be down towards the back end of the weekend and show how far he's come as an athlete and what he is capable of doing. And he obviously, to no surprise, came back, dominated the last back into Saturday into Sunday morning, put his leader jersey back on and did his work and took home his 4th gold medal. So really fun to watch that unfold. It was great. Saw a female podium without a daughter on it. I don't know when the last time that was. I'd have to, look and do my research, but that was, hats off to Kristen Holte and Jamie Green, and, showing that you don't have to be from Iceland to get on the podium for the females. So it was cool to see. But not taking anything away from, Annie, Sarah, or Katrin. It was still really cool to watch. Obviously, all those athletes as well. My prediction, actually, I thought Annie would be on the podium this year. She's looked phenomenal at the other events, the sanctional events that she was at. So my predictions were wrong, but it is what it is. So really good times, great season. I'm excited to see how it plays out now with the Open literally coming back here in a couple months. I want to say it's in October. And yeah, I'd like to see where I'll be at. So hope you guys enjoyed this. That's my recap of the 2019 CrossFit Games. If you did, hit the subscribe, like button, all that good stuff. And as always, don't forget to pay the man.